Welcome. Nature's Slimming Secrets. Very few practitioners are aware of, even natural health practitioners and naturopathic doctors. Do you eat fairly healthy and wonder why you still gain weight? Are you sick of yo-yo energy, fad, and extreme diets that aren't sustainable and leave you feeling powerless to lose weight? Do you feel like your age or some genes make it harder to lose weight, slim down? And what if there was a natural, sort of organic way, no matter your age or genetics, to lose and keep the weight off? I'm sharing 3 secrets to do this tonight. And thank you. I'm so excited you're joining me tonight. A bit about me. I am a former nurse practitioner, and I've studied parasite detox with Dr. James Overman. I call him the parasite expert of the world. He wrote the book, Overcoming Parasites Naturally. I am also a skilled emotion code practitioner, higher brain living coach, theta healer, critique facilitator, and I studied with Joseph Mercola for 17 years, from just learning from his newsletters and articles that he shared. I myself started experiencing weight issues around my late 40s. And around my early 50s, I was 25 pounds over what I was in my 30s. I have done many different strategies since, and what I have learned is that most work for a while, but the ones that have lasting results must be incorporated as a lifestyle makeover. So I don't like fast loss of weight, and I feel this is not effective. And I think that losing weight temporarily is just a complete waste of energy. And I want something sustainable for myself and you also. So the number one factor for losing weight is just a commitment to yourself, to be open-minded and listen, and to believe that there are simple and effective solutions. In fact, I am a lifelong learner, and I believe in not giving up on ourselves. So thank you for your belief and commitment to yourself. And Bob Proctor says that decision is a key factor in our transformation, because once we make a decision, we are committed, and the universe will conspire to send us ways and information or whatever is needed to support our decision. So what happens as we age, especially women over 50? There are hormonal changes, of course, which affect us. And also today we are facing more toxic food sources, including glyphosate, which is herbicide, and toxic oils. We'll discuss this a little bit later. But things like canola oil, soybean, corn oil, they're all toxic to the body. So secret number 1, I believe the timing of our food when we eat, some call it intermittent fasting, is an important factor in helping to optimize your weight. Our ancestors did this because they didn't have access to food 24/7. And our genetics have been optimized to having food at variable intervals, not every 3 hours or 4 hours. When you eat every few hours for months, years, or decades, never missing a meal, your body forgets how to burn fat as fuel. The body becomes very inefficient at burning fat. So even though you've got just 10 pounds or 30 pounds, 50 pounds or more of fat on your body, you have difficulty burning it off. And one of the basic fundamental principles that you cannot burn fat if you have a high level of insulin available. And when we eat, constantly eating and feeding ourselves carbs, high insulin drives fat storage, no exception. Another issue is that our ancestors had to go without a meal at intervals, and sometimes even as long as a day. Now we often consider 3 meals a day normal. I certainly did, and I bragged I never skipped a meal, even when I was in childbirth. The key is to teach your body how to be flexible, like that of a child, whose body switches between burning carbs and fats easily. And as we age, we need to teach our body to relearn this. Maintaining a low carb or a high fat or high protein diet alone is not safe in the long term. Why? Having low carbs all the time, and if your fat intake is higher than 30 to 35%, glucose will be made from your muscle, and then it is not burned efficiently in the mitochondria, and this increases lactic acid. The fat percentage limit for most healthy people is around 30 to 35%. But if you are diabetic and or obese, you may need to limit your fat intake to 15%. And this information I gathered from Joseph Mercola and Georgie Dinkoff, Dinkov, who's researched this quite a bit. And I recently came across a professor who said that high insulin drives fat storage. And if you are diabetic and you take metformin, this medication is toxic to your mitochondria. So you're not burning and making energy efficiently. Also, your body releases cortisol when you take too high of a fat or just protein in your diet and restrict carbs. You use cortisol to produce glucose from your muscles when your blood sugar is low. And cortisol breaks down your lean muscle, even bones and brain fat, to make amino acids that your liver then converts to glucose or sugar. Cortisol produces inflammation in your tissues. The best glucose for your body comes from complex carbs, such as ripe fruits, and that could be anything like oranges, tangerines, melon, mango, watermelon, grapes, and cooked starches such as potatoes and rice. We need to avoid or at least minimize resistant starches, and they have to be prepared in a certain way. Things like beans, grains, even oatmeal can produce toxins in your colon if they're not properly soaked with what I would call vinegar or lemon juice. Most of us think of cortisol as a stress hormone, but this is not its primary purpose in the body. Its real purpose is to make sure your glucose level never drops below too low, as that could result in a hypoglycemic coma, which could kill you. So both low carb and fasting are great interventions in the short term for those who are overweight and metabolically inflexible. But when we use them long term, and I mean here like more than 2 months, they can damage our metabolism and lead to complications because they tend to cause chronic elevations in cortisol. That's a stress hormone, which also causes inflammation and lean muscle loss. So as we age, our muscles decline in just the amount we have, and we don't want them to decline anymore. Secret number 2, the body's fat cells store toxins, which are more prevalent today. Have you heard of Roundup or glyphosate? That's the same name. It is in most of our processed foods, including foods that have wheat, oatmeal, and corn, if they're not organic. Releasing these toxins too rapidly can cause a crisis for the body. And this can happen when a person goes on a short-term extreme fast. Releasing toxins needs to be a gradual process and supported by herbs, which are capable of removing them safely. Also, parasites are usually present in the body. So there's parasites and toxins. And this is not just a gut issue. Parasites impair the body's ability to function optimally, resulting in chronic diseases such as heart disease, depression, cancer, autoimmune, even diabetes. There has been an explosion of autoimmune in the last 10, 20, 30 years as well. So how does a person know if they have parasites? Most of us do. Have you ever had an antibiotic or eaten food that's been grown with pesticides or herbicides? Have you ever consumed meat from questionable sources, such as restaurants or fast food outlets? I myself got a parasite from eating ground beef from the Jewel over 25 years ago. Your body can be compared to a car or even your house. I've been in my house for 43 years. What if I only cleaned it once every 10 years? How often do you change the oil in your car? How important is a liver cleanse or parasite cleanse? And how often do we need to do this? How many of us have been properly trained or understand about this process? Have you ever heard of Lyme's disease or Parkinson's? They are on the rise now due to parasites and toxins. Actually, parasites feed on the toxins in our body, and it helps them to reproduce. And certain parasites have a life cycle that includes a dormant phase that most cleanses cannot address. Thinking that a parasite is just in your gut is a myth. They are everywhere. It can be in your joints, your brain, your thyroid, And the most common parasite I find is fungus. And the way I find them is through muscle testing. So secret number 3. Mitochondria are the powerhouses of our bodies. As we age, they can die off, but they also can be regenerated. When the mitochondria malfunction, weight gain and many diseases take over, including diabetes, cancer, more. Each cell has over 100 mitochondria, and the human egg cell has between 100,000 and 600,000 mitochondria, just that one cell. Heart muscle cells, they have to work really hard, have between 5,000 and 8,000 mitochondria each. So most of us give no thought to how they operate. And the sad case is that doctors and most natural health practitioners also have no clue. And I myself have been aware of the importance of mitochondria, but I did not really understand the processes of how they become impaired and malfunction. And I recently went to the Health Freedom Expo in Tinley Park this last October and updated my views and knowledge with Morley Robbins. What I'm sharing is so important, as even I have been brainwashed to believe, for instance, in the importance of taking multivitamins without realizing that most of them contain synthetic forms of nutrients we need, such as vitamin C, which is called ascorbic acid, but ascorbic acid and natural vitamin C, like in an orange or melon and vegetables, is not the same as ascorbic acid. And Morley says that copper is critical to the functioning of the cell's mitochondria. I didn't know this. Copper is depleted by excess iron in the cells. And this happens as we age, especially. More iron is stuck inside the cell and it cannot get out. You can even be told that you are anemic by a doctor because your blood level of iron may be low. But iron is there, hiding, stuck inside your cells. Morley Robbins, in his book, Cure Your Fatigue, says that copper is a key mineral and responsible for the enzymes that power the energy production inside your cells, inside the mitochondria. So that energy production is called ATP, and it's constantly going on inside our bodies. And iron inside the cell depletes copper and hijacks the energy function process. So we create a lot of oxidative stress instead of having efficient production of ATP. Copper causes longevity, and iron inside the cell makes it a senescent cell, meaning it's not functioning well. So something called high fructose corn syrup, you have to read your labels, but it's in a lot of our junk drinks and foods. High fructose corn syrup depletes copper, and glyphosate is like Pac-Man eating up our copper. Copper deficiency is related to insulin resistance, which I said is a key factor in fat storage. There is a lot of chemistry involved, and I don't want to bore you. But one thing I want you to know one food that is highest in copper, and that is beef liver. And grass-fed liver is the best. You can check out more foods high in copper for yourself. I want you to know, too, that it's important that magnesium is available. It's a key mineral in the production of ATP. And magnesium enzymes activate copper to help us make energy. And what depletes magnesium? Vitamin A and copper. Excess vitamin D. So if you are taking vitamin D supplements, as I've been doing, it may be time to rethink this. Vitamin D in excess depletes vitamin A, which is needed to produce ATP or energy. Excess vitamin D slows down the mitochondria and can cause inflammation in the organs and tissues. And inflammation is a key driver of weight, disease, and stress. I hope that I have given you some things to think about and reflect with your open mind. I was just going to go over a little bit about your chakras, the energy centers in your body, because they can be out of balance and store certain emotions and beliefs that can cause us to put on weight. Because our physical body is a perfect reflection of our subconscious mind and the emotions and beliefs that we have stored. Emotions drive weight gain also. As a emotion code practitioner and a skilled theta healer, I am aware of emotions and beliefs that block our chakras and cause weight gain there in each particular area of your body. And so the base chakra or root chakra is located at the base of the spine. It tells how grounded and connected and supported we feel. It is related to survival, a sense of touch, pain, and pleasure. And issues of intimacy and trauma can be stored here. And we see it in people's hips and butt. Have you ever seen anyone with really large hips or butt? That is part of the first chakra. And when we are protecting ourselves, we can put on excess weight, especially, if there's some kind of trauma there. It could be related to self-expression, self-exertion. It could be related even to sexual issues. I want to say that the second chakra, which is just below the belly button, it's related to your immune system, to creating and maintaining boundaries, and our creativity. And the third chakra is especially important. It's that midsection. And that's what we call the solar plexus, between the sternum and the navel. And it's related to making good decisions, developing a healthy ego, willpower, and it helps us to digest and assimilate life experiences. And if this energy is low here, we may have a lack of self-esteem, eating disorders, depression, indecisiveness, poor decision-making, feelings of anger, rage. The third chakra is also associated with elbows, knees, and ankles. So if you have issues with your knees or ankles, it is the third chakra. And the fourth chakra, the heart chakra, is the center of our wisdom, power, and balance. And if it's fully energized, we connect to our true passion and fully express ourselves. It is the seat of love, hope, compassion, social identity, forgiveness, trust. And when it's disrupted or low in energy, we may have upper back issues, shoulder, lung, and breathing and spinal problems. And the emotions of despair, envy, jealousy. Have you ever seen a person with kyphosis or curving or crumbling of the upper spine? This is an unbalanced heart chakra. And if you see someone with a large, extra large chest or fully fat upper arms, there are signs of blockages in the heart chakra also. An open mind is needed for transformation, else we will remain in the same cycles of stress, inflammation, weight gain. I believe that when you make a decision, that's a key step to whatever you want to create, even if you want to release weight. And this is a process that most of us need support and guidance, especially to understand the beliefs and emotions that go with this weight. If you would like to explore with me further, please schedule a free consult with me to learn some tips and to see if we are a good fit. I believe that releasing weight is a lifestyle transformation and takes time. To get support for a short time or even a longer time or some of the issues that I've mentioned, please schedule a call with me in the link in the chat. The next step for you is now just a click away. So I've covered a lot here, and I have a specific protocol to release toxins and parasites. Plus, I'm knowledgeable about how to restore insulin sensitivity in the cell, which is a key driver of weight. Very few people understand how this really works and how we can transform it. So thank you for your time and commitment. I'm going to stop the recording.